on now. You knew I wouldn't do a Cobra Kai Season 1 video without doing Cobra Kai Season 2. Let's get into this. Season 2 of Cobra Kai starts off where Season 1 ended, some dude I don't recognize looking ominous. Again, this was a moment where my friend would be singing about how he knows something I don't know. Took me a second, I'm slow, but I eventually remembered, oh yeah, this guy was in some flashbacks, but younger. Anyway, friendly talks break down almost immediately, and we get some geriatric Street Fighter complete with special moves that cause environmental damage. This is a good little scene though. Like I said, I don't know who this guy is except the old master. Something tells me their relationship hasn't exactly been on speaking terms the last few decades. And I don't learn this through lengthy exposition, I can infer it through the actions of the characters. Johnny clearly doesn't want to become whatever horrible thing this John Kreese guy is, and shows him mercy only for it to be taken advantage of. This is going to be the focus of Johnny's character and a recurring theme with him throughout this season, and this opening set it up beautifully. Though this bit where he lets Kreese go kinda reminds me of something.
Never.
Meanwhile, Team Miyagi-Do is fixing up their Sanctum Sanctorum, and Daniel-san's character arc this season is foreshadowed. Balance and his struggle to maintain it. Remember folks, this guy is the head of a very successful chain of car dealerships, he's busy enough already, and now he's gonna tack on a karate dojo? Yeah, I wonder where the drama in his life this time is gonna come from. Anywho, Johnny is trying to curb his students' new vicious ways. He had a conversation with Kreese about how the world needs Cobra Kai, but it doesn't need Kreese, and so Johnny is going to pull back on some of the no mercy mantra. And I have to ask again, wouldn't Kreese be the one with the rights to Cobra Kai, not Johnny?
Damn it! I want answers!
Let's switch things up though and talk about the teens. They have a lot more to do this time around than last season. Last season, they were just sort of the extensions of Johnny and Daniel-san, but now they're starting to flesh themselves out more. There's two dynamics I want to look at in particular, Hawk and Dimitri, and Miguel and Tori. Dimitri and Hawk used to be the two most bullied kids at school until Cobra Kai. Hawk ascended and made something more of himself, and Dimitri is sort of latching on. Now with Hawk becoming more and more of a jackass, of course shit's gonna happen, and eventually Dimitri finds himself going to learn karate. And I just want to take a second here, just watch this.
Saw your little demonstration at Valley Fest. A couple of the guys have been requesting I come join the club. So, I feel like it's time to give it another go. But I've got some ground rules. I'd prefer to take a flag football approach to my karate training. Ideally learning to hit and kick without actually being hit or kicked. Part and parcel with that, I have a bit of a thing about personal space. The other Cobras are just gonna have to accept that. Wow, that is quite the tattoo. Ooh, not to nitpick here, but I'm not sure it's anatomically correct. You see, the hood of the Indo-Chinese spitting cobra is much smaller, and their pupils are actually round, not the vertical type your artist opted for. So, you know, probably an easy enough fix to correct the...
Dude, I would pick on this kid, but I gotta say it is really depressing seeing their friendship fall apart. There's little bits here and there where it looks like things can be salvaged, but unfortunately Hawk represents the Cobra Kai Kreese wants, and as such he's obsessed with strength and douchebaggery. Hawk makes several decisions that directly destroy his personal relations outside of Cobra Kai, and he doesn't seem to care.
I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. Oh.
Moving on to the other new student at Cobra Kai, Tori. Tori is there to help Miguel get over Samantha and further tempt Miguel to the dark side of Cobra Kai. Most of the temptation comes from her animosity towards Samantha. Through several coincidental happenstances, Tori and Samantha butt heads numerous times, with Tori using the opportunities to try and convince Miguel people don't care and he needs to have no mercy. But at the same time, though, Tori helps Miguel get over his failed relationship, and in doing so, Miguel is starting to become more and more open to the less extreme mentality of Kreese. Getting back to the adults though, as mentioned, Daniel-san is trying to establish Miyagi-Do to compete with Cobra Kai. And as mentioned, he's already super busy. Now granted, he's teaching some of the ex-Cobra Kai students life lessons involving teamwork and camaraderie beyond a type of gang mentality that Kreese enforces, but he's losing grip on his business all the way, which isn't helped when Kreese comes to taunt him at the dojo. Also, more so than in the last season, it's really more Daniel-san perpetuating the rivalry between himself and Johnny. Now don't get me wrong, there's a lot of external things that drive Daniel-san against Johnny, but it's never explicitly stated that Johnny was the perpetrator in whatever scenario in question, and Daniel-san refuses to listen at almost every junction. This does start to get irritating. We've seen it in Season 1, if they can just talk, things start to look better, and we see it again in Season 2. But something happens, Johnny is slightly involved in name only, and Daniel-san wants to go after him like Mel Gibson on The British. On the flip side, Johnny is starting to discover a life of having just enough mercy to be badass and a decent person. Miguel's MILF starts seeing Johnny a bit more often, and throughout this season the two start to date, and it's her influence that shows Johnny the path he wants to walk. Sure, he knew he didn't want to be like Kreese, but it was Miguel's mom that showed him how to be the bigger man, which actually lets him get a leg up, as it were, on Daniel-san. Now I'll give it to him. Daniel-san has his reasons for wanting to eradicate Cobra Kai, and Kreese's actions both behind the scenes and overt do continuously provoke him, but at the same time, Daniel-san is very quick to go on the attack, and it leads to a situation where if Daniel-san would just take a second to calm down and talk with Johnny, significant plot points with negative outcomes could be avoided. And that leads me into my one real problem with the season. They're repeating the same drama they did in the first one. First season, Johnny and Daniel-san were getting along until something happens, Daniel-san freaks out and causes problems. Second season, Johnny and Daniel-san start to get along, and then something happens, and Daniel-san freaks out and causes problems. It's been like 18 episodes, and Daniel-san still hasn't figured out how to calm the fuck down. I don't have to do the George Lucas bit, do I?
No.
But that one problem is vastly overshadowed by all the great things about the season. Take my word for what it's worth, but I am not someone who gets to the edge of his seat and gets into anything he's watching. Infinity War? Fell asleep. Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer? Who cares? Iron Man dying at the end of Endgame? Yawn. But the ending to Cobra Kai Season 2 had me vault out of my chair towards the screen going, no, this can't be it, right? There's gotta be more. That and Johnny trying to figure out modern culture had me quite literally laughing my ass off. For my money, Johnny discovering the internet stole the season. Cobra Kai Season 2 is in many ways worse than Cobra Kai Season 1. Namely because they do, like I said, they start to repeat a lot of the same dramas, a lot of the same dynamics of Johnny is moderately involved in something that ticks off Daniel-san, and Daniel-san just freaks the hell out. And that, oh god, that gets irritating, because you're sitting there watching and you're just thinking, okay, how many times is he going to do that? It's like the Thor and Loki, you know, how many times is he going to dive into him? But no, the ending of Cobra Kai Season 2, though, my god, that had me on the edge of my seats. Like, I could not wait to get more Cobra Kai. And I was like, oh, it's not going to come out yet. So it does have me very excited for Season 3. The last episode of Cobra Kai Season 2 is a very powerful episode that I'm really hoping I didn't spoil. In the meantime, though, I heavily recommend this one. Go watch it. Have a good day.
Thank you.